Hi James, it's great to talk to you today. Our audiences and students in our network at Sunstone would find your stories very, very inspirational, and we want to learn more about what you do, how you get about building this career.
And I'm also very curious to know, whenever a player gets injured, playing in the field, goes through some injury or some sort of let's say physio treatment that's required, I always see the physio running, and they have a kit box also. What is that magical kit box?
Yeah, that's a physio secret. That's like being part of the magic circle. That I can't say. No, it's. I guess it might vary from physio to physio, but we have various different strappings and tapings that players might want, from fingers to knees or thighs if they sort of do a bit of a soft tissue. So we've got all sorts of emergency medical care equipment as well that we carry with us. So from things like airways, so we can put airways in your mouth, the nose, medical oxygens, all sorts of things. So it's probably a bit more than what people think, I guess.
I'm guessing that you studied physio as a discipline, but then did you specialize in sports, or did you kind of get into it later by way of experience?
As a young fella growing up, I was lucky enough to sort of play 12 years. Well, I sort of made my first class debut in 1998 and retired 2009, 2010. So I was quite fortunate to have a first class playing career in cricket. But I suffered quite a bad head injury whilst playing as a young player, where I was batting in training, and I got a short ball. I went to take on the short ball, and the ball went in between the grill of my helmet and the peak of my helmet, and it took out my right eye. And the doctors at the time didn't know if the sight in my right eye would return. My family, my parents were very supportive, but they'd always really emphasised the need for education, the importance for education, because it could be taken away from you at any time by injury or by just not being good enough. So that was a real turning point for me in my journey. And that's when I had to sit down and really take a long, hard look about what I was going to do after playing cricket. I guess if I hadn't have played cricket, I was really keen to go to med school and study medicine, but went down the career path of playing cricket. But I got on the front foot a little bit, and I applied to go to university during this period of uncertainty. And then I was fortunate enough to stay in the game of cricket and become physiotherapist for Derbyshire, an English first-class county.
How important is communicating with the players for you and your role, and how do you do it more effectively?
My role here at Lucknow is physiotherapist, and for me, obviously, one of the challenges coming over here from the north of England is the difference in languages, and also in particular my language, because I'm not sure I speak English that great, if I'm being honest. My accent's quite thick, and I had to slow down when I speak, because I got so many blank expressions when I first arrived. And Krunal Pandya, I think one of the first conversations, he gave me a good steer on what to say when I come on the pitch, when I sort of go see a player on the pitch. And it was like, whenever you come on, you've got to say, bye TK. And if I say TK bye, you're fine, crack on, I'm okay. So little things like that have been really helpful. The boys have been very patient as well with me, that is for sure. And but I've enjoyed learning little bits of Hindi and getting to experience the culture.
There are two formats of cricket. One is the 50-over format, and the other one is the 20-over format. What's the difference between the two, or if you would want to create some distinctions between the two formats?
The 2020 format is obviously quite fast, frenetic. It's a bit more condensed, and the intensities have been shown to be higher. Firstly, our approach, whatever format you're looking to prep a player up for, help them prepare for, it's very individualised, it's very specific to them, and we don't just consider the game requirements, we look at their past injury history. All our players came off the back of seasons, so they're in the thick of their seasons. The local lads they've sort of finished their first class season, so they've been playing the longer format. We had a 2-week training camp before our first game. The West Indian guys, Jason Holder, Kyle Mayers, coming off the back of a test series, and that's a big part of what makes up a player's programme.
I'd like to know that, because LSG, Lucknow Super Giants, is a new team, what was your one challenge where you got to know that, okay, now this is a new entrant in the IPL season this time. Everything has to be started from the scratch and given a structure. What do you think was your challenge, when you were made aware of the fact that you're the team physio?
So my first challenge was getting to know where you get your supplies from. That would be it. What's the difference in brands? If a player writing up sort of emergency action plans. So if I'm at training and a player gets hit in the head, and I need to get them, or we need to make sure we get them transitioned to hospital. Which hospital they go to, what's the process for doing that, what kit we've got on the ground. I tend to risk assess everything and plan for everything. So I wanted to make sure that when I got here, everything was in place. The obvious challenge that we had was, like you say, a new bunch of people coming together that have to get some, you have to form that cohesion pretty quick. There's not much time there. We had 2 weeks before our first game, and players were coming in at different stages as well. So we started with a pretty small group of about 9-10 players.
We believe that there's an inner spark, and if you believe in it, you can make success happen to you. So what is that one driving force for you, James?
Mine's care, without a shadow of a doubt. Just care. It doesn't matter if it's going down to breakfast and you bump into someone, you fist bumping and having a chat and just touching base, seeing how they are. And so mine would be care.
One thing can kind of impact everything that you do and have such great returns. And by that I mean just, being able to achieve success in your true potential. So lovely. It was great talking to you, but we're not going to sign off before, doing this one final thing. Actually, two final things.
Two final things, yes.
One is the song, and the other one is, there is a signatory step that you're going to do and signing of the mug. Yeah. So let's go for it.
We'll start with the signature celebratory song, the victory song that LSG has. What was the emergence of the song?
The story behind it, I guess it was born or created in a management meeting where we're sort of brainstorming before the players got here and floated it past the lads because that's who it's for, that's who it's about. We floated it after our first victory, and I was shown a video, and I was shown a video of the last one, and they're on fire, aren't they? Their improvement in the last sort of 6 weeks has been incredible. So it gives us a bit of hope. But so that's how it's created, really.
So now I think it's your turn to do justice and sing it for us.
Are you ready? Where it began, I can't begin to know when, but now the Giants are going strong. Formed in the spring, then we got tight in the summer. Who'd have believed we'd get along? You need to put your hands in there now, ready? Half reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Super Giants. Good times never seem so good. So good! So good! So good! Dhanyavad. Listen to your heart and follow your passion. QK ab jeetega baki.
The process of getting into this field would be to do your general graduation in physiotherapy. Then you sort of hone these skills in a clinical setup,